The issue at hand is the rule of law versus the rule of man. Zimbabwe, 40 years later, as we look back at the journey of independence, are we satisfied we are closer to the promise of independence? If so, who are our shining stars in terms of enlightening us, educating us on what is required to make Zimbabwe a constitutional state? Do we need Zimbabwe to be a constitutional state? To join me in this conversation, we're privileged to have Mr. Simba Chikanza of ZimI. Welcome. And I have Honorable Elvis Mugari in South Africa. I have Mr. Karambakua, who is based in Cape Town. And our guest, who is under the spotlight today, is Senator Morgan Komichi. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
How are you?
Where can we embed this tweet, this stream? Because I'm looking at the 1873, I can't find it.
Okay, let me send to you the link. It's on my Facebook page.
Okay, I see. So, okay, so
yeah. You see it?
I'm just checking here. I'll go, if it's on your Facebook page, then I'll go to it, the page, not the portal, right?
Yeah.
Not the profile.
Yeah.
There's nothing here.
I can also send you the link so that you are. So that sorry, Senator, we just doing the outreach.
No, it's okay.
Right.
You got it?
Not yet. Matumira ku.
Let me see whether I send it to you.
Do I use the same link here for StreamYard?
Yeah, you can use the StreamYard, yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So let me do this. Do this quickly.
And I see it's not showing on my page as well. What about Tech Magazine?
It's on TechMag.
It's on TechMag as well.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Yes, now I see it.
Okay.
Now I see. Thank you. So we'll also cross stream it to ZimI as well.
ZimI, yeah.
Yeah. So just quickly doing this, bringing it up, and we should be good to go shortly. Right.
All right. Are we on?
Yes, we should be on ASAP from now. Okay. Right. We're splendid. We're starting now. We're good to go.
All right. Okay. So maybe just to introduce Senator Honorable Komichi, your days are numbered.
What do you mean? What do you
mean? Let's dispose of the gossip so that we can deal with the substantive issues.
All right, okay.
Are you a senator? As we speak, and the chairman of the party?
Yes, I'm both. I am the senator in Zimbabwe Parliament, as well as the national chairperson of MDC, the party that was left by President Morgan Tsvangirai.
So you are saying that the party
That's my position.
of Morgan Tsvangirai is not dead?
It's not dead at all. The party is alive. Its members are still there. Leadership is still there. This is been going on for the last 2 years. There's been a court challenge in the Supreme Court, and the High Court and Supreme Court actually confirmed that the party is alive and it has got still its leadership. So the leadership is now in charge of the party, and we are now preparing to go to the External Congress as prescribed by the Supreme Court, as well as the party MDC party constitution.
Okay. Simba, any question? You can start on your side so that we get the ball rolling. Any question for the chairman of MDC of Tsvangirai?
Okay, yes, sir. Senator, may I start by apologizing? I've got to apologize because I was supposed to have interviewed you last week. I failed because of a few, as you can see here, we've got crisis, an international crisis. Senator, you refer yourself as national chairman. The bulk of our citizenry, over 80%, are asking, how could you call yourself national chairman? Who appointed you national chairman? You suddenly bounced out of the Supreme Court hearing and proclaimed yourself national chairman. Who appointed you?
No. I was not appointed. I was actually elected in the 2014 Congress. I was elected the Deputy National Chairperson to Comrade Love Momoyo. As we then went on in the struggle, Honorable Love Momoyo resigned. And by the operation of our party constitution MDC, if the National Chairperson resigns, the Deputy National Chairperson automatically takes over with full authority as the National Chairperson. So this is what is there in the constitution of our party. So I didn't need anyone to appoint me, but simply to take over the position as the party constitution, because my boss then resigned.
Right. I hope you can hear me, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. So Senator, these people are asking you once again then, you're saying you came in here because your boss was not there because he resigned. Senator,
he resigned.
We have
by the operation of our party constitution. If you resign, if the chairman resigns, that is as per the party constitution of MDC, the deputy chairperson takes over. This was then confirmed. There's been an argument since the death of Morgan Tsvangirai. There's been an argument in our party because the whole process of succession was not followed properly constitutionally. So the party was taken to court. So finally, the Supreme Court judgment came out, and it demanded that, and it asked everyone in MDC to go back to February 28th.
Hello?
I think his line is breaking.
By that judgment,
breaking.
All right.
By that judgment, I automatically become the MDC national chairperson, because the very day Tsvangirai passed on, I was the national chairperson of the party. So we believe in the rule of law. We respect judgments, and we want to encourage every Zimbabwean to respect judgments. And we cannot be seen to go against our own values as the party. Remember, one of our key values as MDC is the rule of law. And we cannot be seen going against it, because the moment we go against our own values and principles, how then would we correct ZANU-PF? How then would we fight our struggle against ZANU-PF if ourselves as MDC cannot follow the rule of law? So let us follow the rule of law. The Supreme Court judgment is very clear. We messed up as MDC after the death of Morgan Tsvangirai. We did not follow our own constitution. We did not respect Section 9211. So we were found guilty. We were found in the wrong side of the law. So the law is caught up with us. If we are reasonable people, if we are constitutional people that respect democracy, we must be able to go back to the roots and correct the mess that we put ourselves in.
Oh, right. I take you back to your words there. You said that you messed up after the death of our leader, Morgan Tsvangirai. So the issues that we're talking about here, that you are in and seeking to correct, are those that happened after the death of Morgan Tsvangirai, if I'm correct, sir.
We are here going to correct everything that happened before and after. And remember Elias Mzuri and Nelson Chamisa to the position of the vice president. It was again unconstitutional. Good leaders should accept where they've gone wrong. After the death of President Morgan Tsvangirai, we did not follow the constitution as well. We were supposed to have gone for extraordinary Congress to elect the replacement for Morgan Tsvangirai. We didn't do that with the people that we messed up. We must actually go ahead and sanitize the mess so that we can become an institution of respect. At the moment, no one will respect us because at the moment, as we stand as MDC leaders, actually, we are certificated as illegitimate people. No one wants to see or to work with us because we know a certificate of illegitimacy. Remember, we've been fighting a war against Mnangagwa, against the issue of illegitimacy. Where do we then stand now if we are also certificated as illegitimate leaders? So we must humble ourselves, respect the rule of law, welcome the Supreme judgment, organize the extraordinary Congress, elect the leaders properly.
Right, so,
Okay.
Senator.
Then we can go ahead with the struggle.
Senator, thank you very
Yes,
much for
sir.
that. Let's go to that point there that you have raised there. We must respect the rule of law. Senator, we have
Yes, sir.
already an outstanding
Yes.
issue,
Yes.
not of a party matter here, nothing to do with the internal politics of ZANU-PF, neither anything to
Yes,
do
sir.
with inter-party
Yes, sir.
politics. Something not only of a national concern when it comes to the subject of rule of law,
Yes,
but
sir.
something to do with international law. We have a violation against not only the Constitution of Zimbabwe, every major law of Zimbabwe was violated on 1 August when 6 people were killed by Emmerson Mnangagwa. And this was announced and broadcast on ZBC, something that the whole country saw, declared an intention to use the army to change election results. Senator, it did not stop there. We had a further 17 people killed between the 14th and the 18th of January 2019. Further crimes against humanity that were investigated independently by the United Nations, and 3 reports produced. In a continuation of a violation of the rule of law, a total breakdown of law and order that did not start in 2018, but that began on the 4th of April back in 1983, and our country is down right now. You and I, Senator, Our lives are down. Every member of our community, the Zimbabwean community, their lives right now are below the sand because of this total breakdown of law and order. Senator, people are asking you here, how could you call yourself a person who is dedicated to the rule of law over a matter that Supreme Court judges declared as moot, a judgment that does not make sense? It can't be connected to either reason or practical application. And yet you are avoiding here a total breakdown of law and order that has seen more than 22,000 people killed since 1983. More blacks killed than those who have been killed by apartheid South Africa. Killed by one man, Emmerson Mnangagwa. Have you, in this case, stood up for the rule of law, for something so clear? Question to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think you remember when I started to be politically active, I was
Hello, I think there may be some connection problem.
This is breaking.
Okay.
It's got to be here. It really is going to be here. This is crucial.
Visual chairperson.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
No, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Can you get me?
Yeah, we can get you.
I got.
Hello. Hello.
When I became the provincial chairperson of Mark North Province,
okay.
I don't think it's
I
working.
got arrested.
Yeah.
I paid a visit in Wange prison. I was imprisoned in Lupani. I was imprisoned in Kai. I was imprisoned in Kami for fighting for these values, for fighting the Mugabe government. When I became the National Organizing Secretary of the party, I actually led a team of democratic resistance people to fight against injustice, to fight for the political reforms. Remember, I got arrested and served 6 months in jail. I was tortured. I was maimed. I almost died. I did not stop there. In 2013, when the Mugabe regime wanted to rig elections, you remember I caught up with the ballot paper scandal to stand against lack of democracy. Remember when it comes to 2018 again, when Mnangagwa wanted to rig elections, I stood before the entire nation and told the people that the results were fake. I am actually one of the most tortured people in MDC, one of the bravest cadres of MDC since its creation, one of the leaders that stood against the injustice. So what you see me now doing is not what Nelson Chamisa was doing within the party. I did advise him on several occasions. I did discuss with other senior leaders of the party. I raised issues of non-constitutionalism. I advised that soon after he took power, after the Dutch-Hungary, I said we must go for the Standard Congress. It was avoided. When the High Court judgment came out in 2019, I sat down with him and other leaders. I said we must postpone the Guerrero Congress. Let's go for the Standard Congress. Again, it was shut down. So, but I made it clear to everyone that I respect the outcome of the Supreme Court. And when the Supreme Court came out, I took my position. I stood up against the injustices. I stood up against non-constitutionalism. I stood up against lack of democracy. I stood up against lack of the rule of law. So I am what I am. I've never changed. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not at all hypocrite. These people know me well. Zimbabwe people know me well. I will not change.
Okay, we are joined by.
I believe in the core values of my party.
We're hearing
democracy,
Senator. Sorry,
justice, freedom, humble leadership, and solidarity.
Let's just recognize Toneo, who is with the Tech Magazine TV in Zimbabwe.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Evening. I'm not so sure if you can hear me, but good evening, and how are you? I'm sorry.
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. We can hear you perfectly.
Yeah.
The chroma is cutting you a bit, though. Just check out the chroma.
I'm still working on it.
Okay, cheers. Right, Senator Komichi, a very short one to you. And do you remember? I hope you do. You remember back in 2014 when I stood recognizing the sacrifice and the persecution that you had received from ZANU-PF, and I stood down your leader Morgan Tsvangirai in Birmingham over how you were treated, and I felt you were not getting supported. Do you remember that interview, sir? Okay, I think he didn't hear me. I think the senator didn't hear me.
Remember.
Okay,
no,
he does remember.
He does remember.
Okay, thank you. Senator.
Yes, I remember.
Quick question
yes.
here. How could you call yourself an advocate of the rule of law or someone who is after the rule of law here? In this case, you've got an illustrious history. You were persecuted, like many others here, like, for instance, your colleague Douglas Monzora. You were persecuted. But in this case, are you not persecuting Zimbabwe?
Yes.
And are you not also yourself here? Yourself advocating for the continuation of a breakdown of law and order? Because this Supreme Court ruling that you are celebrating or you are dancing on, or that you are now bringing yourself forward to be obeying here, itself is it's a distraction. It is a violation of the rule of law. Why? Because as I said before, we've got a background here that began in 1983. We've got a background here of the real breakdown of law and order that has been existing, the 2018 brutalities which have continued, and people are dying. Are you not yourself an advocate of, now you've turned yourself from hero to yourself an advocate of the breakdown of law and order, the abuse of the courts here for totally flimsy causes in the face or in the description of so-called abiding by rulings?
Okay, I can hear you. But what we need to differentiate here is that MDC should have its own values. Why we were created, why we do exist as MDC, we must have our own values. And our values are very clear: rule of law, constitutionalism, democracy, solidarity, freedom, justice, humble leadership. This is what defines us as MDC. From that cornerstone, we are able now to fight ZANU-PF, which does not believe in all these key values. ZANU-PF does not respect the rule of law. It's a violent party. It does not. ZANU-PF abuses people. It has no respect for the human rights. We have ourselves the people that want to correct a situation. Now, what has been happening for the last 2 years, we could not differentiate between ZANU-PF and MDC because we also found to violate our own constitution. We also found there was no distinction on who is who. At the end of the day, the people would suffer more, and the struggle would suffer more because we will not be having any high moral standing ground to then accuse Emerson Mnangagwa and his colleagues for violating the human rights, for violating the constitution, for violating the rule of law. So what we are trying to restore the order of our part, to restore the values that we were created for, the values that we have been dying for the last 20 years. Remember, I've told you on how I've been persecuted, prosecuted, raped, beaten violently. It has been always standing for these core values, which had been for the last 2 years been sacrificed. And you cannot sacrifice these values for power. You can get power through the proper procedures, proper constitutionalism, proper ways of, our constitution. You can get power through it. It's a well prescribed in our constitution. We cannot sacrifice. Actually, if we continued, or if we continue with this kind of an attitude, at the end of the day, the people of Zimbabwe will blame us. At the end of the day, the people of Zimbabwe will find us guilty of not respecting our own core values. What we are going through now is a mosaic decision. It's a mosaic decision which was taken by Moses to take Israel and Egypt to go to Canaan. It wasn't a small decision. When I stood out on the 31st of March and changed direction for the people of Zimbabwe, I knew that was a difficult decision. I knew people are going to make noise. I knew people are going to cry, just like what the Israelites did when they were taken out of Egypt by Moses. This time around, I can assure the nation, and I can assure you, and I can assure the doubters at the moment, that we've taken the right decision and the right track. We are going to revive MGC, and the people of Zimbabwe are going to benefit out of what we are doing today. Don't educate the people. We need to show people. We cannot continue to follow the rule, to break our own rules, to break our own constitution, simply because of populism and power. No, we cannot do that. We'll regret more if we are not principled. If we don't respect our own values, we regret tomorrow. So I want to assure the nation, I want to assure everybody that the decision that I have taken today is a mosaic decision. I can promise you there's a good life in future.
Senator, you're talking about here obeying your constitution, but Senator, you were part of this so-called breaking of your own constitution yourself. You never raised a word. In 2009, the MDC constitution was changed, and Morgan Tsvangirai's term limits were lifted. He became a life president in 2009. The constitution was changed. In 2014, it was changed again. Senator, in 2016, further changes were made when Morgan Tsvangirai then appointed Mudzuri and Nelson Chamisa. You have been part of this. Senator, would in this case here, you wouldn't go back to your girlfriend if we were to tell you here to go back to your girlfriend that you had 5 years ago? You wouldn't, would you, sir? And you heard my question there, sir. Senator, are you there?
Senator.
No.
I said, would you go back? Would you go back to your girlfriend if the Supreme Court was to tell you you've got to go back to your girlfriend or to your wife, your ex-wife, who you had 5 years ago? Would you do such a ludicrous thing?
Yeah, we can hear you. Simba has raised the question, and let's allow you to respond. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you can respond if you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Did you hear the question?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I think I got part of the question. Can I answer that?
Yeah,
Yes,
just
please.
answer
I just said,
Actually,
I just
what
said
you've
you've been a
just
part
said,
of
you've
this
answered
so-called
yourself.
breaking
You
of
said in
your own
2009,
constitution.
the constitution was changed. I mean to say, you've already answered yourself. You said the constitution was changed in 2014. It was changed to suit a situation, because the constitution was changed. So whatever action was done after that was constitutional. What happened in 2018? No constitution was changed. The constitution was very clear. It stated the procedures of succession very clearly in the constitution. It was stated very clearly in the constitution. It was not followed. It was violated. If in 2018 the constitution was changed to suit what happened, it could have been described constitutional now. But because it was not changed, it qualifies to be unconstitutional. And don't forget as well that in 2016, when President Morgan Tsvangirai appointed Vice Presidents Elias Mzuri and Nelson Chamisa, it was struck down by the courts. It was unconstitutional. Even during that time, we debated it. We raised it in our own meetings that the procedure was unconstitutional. And we actually knew that if it is to go to court on the merits, President Morgan Tsvangirai was not going to look to win it. So we not change. I worked with Morgan Tsvangirai and advised him through. And when Nelson Chamisa took over power, I tried to advise. But at the end of the day, the advisor does not carry the day. At the end of the day, the president carries the day. You can take that advice, you can ignore it. But there is always time. Enough is enough. When things are not being done well, we must correct it. Because we are looking at the future. If you become a national president, do not tamper with the constitution. Don't put people at risk. You must be guided and be governed by the Holy Bible, which is the national constitution. If you violate the constitution at this early stage of the party level, would you be able to stand as the national president to respect the constitution? Because the enemies that you think you have at the party level, you are going to have more of them when you become the national president. And that I cannot allow, as Morgan. That I cannot be persuaded to.
Senator, do you understand?
Let us respect our constitution. Let us go back to our table. Let us rearrange ourselves. Let us sanitize our movement. MDC,
Senator, do you agree? And this is my last one, Mama Were.
Movement.
This is my last one on this very same trail here. Yeah,
Senator, and you cannot allow anything that will destroy this movement. No.
Senator, do you understand that your position right now?
What I say?
Do you understand that your position right now is a violation of the legal rights of the people who voted for Nelson Chamisa, who are at court right now? They have got several court cases. Do you agree?
Go ahead.
That what you are saying right now and doing, and what you did outside the Supreme Court on that day, is an attack? It is a violation of the fundamental rights, the legal position, even the moral standing of the people who voted for Nelson Chamisa. Not only those, but the victims who were shot dead, the families of those victims, the many victims who still have bullets lodged in their bodies to this day, and who are at court right now. Do you understand that you are standing to violate their legal position right now, in which they are challenging Emmerson Mnangagwa? And this has got nothing to do with Nelson Chamisa himself as a person, or what he has done or not done, This is about the millions who voted for Nelson Chamisa. This is about those victims who still have bullets lodged in their bodies. This is also about the people of Kuazana who've been told that they will have the army deployed on them at any time soon. Do you understand that you are standing right now to get people killed, more people killed, by Emerson Mnangagwa, who has already said so? Do you understand that you are violating millions of people who are struggling right now? And do you understand that the economy of Zimbabwe is right now in reverse? All because of the very same issue which you are right now attacking. Do you understand that you're violating millions of people, that you are now becoming a betrayer of the law and of millions of our citizens, our whole posterity as a nation? Senator Monzora, do you understand the position that you have taken here is a violation? You yourself could very soon be standing before the International Criminal Court anytime soon. Do you understand the gravity of this, of what you're doing?
Hello?
I finished. I've asked him, does he understand the gravity of what he's doing right now, that he could very soon be standing before the International Criminal Court to answer for crimes against humanity, for what he's doing right now, which is a violation of millions of people, of our citizens, and the whole country right now, which is in reverse. And the lives of people who were killed and who are being killed, and the many who will be killed, as Emerson Mnangagwa has already said so, all because of the attacks against Nelson Chamisa, which he has positioned himself to continue to perpetrate here, not so much against Nelson Chamisa, but against the millions of people. Children, great-grandchildren, the future of our country.
Okay, I think Senator is gone. He's not, I can't see him. And perhaps, Simba, if you are still there, what would be the case for the International Court?
Right, we have got an International Criminal Court case right now that was filed, and more that are already being filed. We've already have got a Supreme Court right now hearing Alison Charles versus Emerson Mnangagwa. We have others that are being lodged outside, even those who are inside the country and those who are outside. These are standing, they're court cases. And anyone who comes here screaming, wanting to attack the decision of millions of people.
Are you satisfied that the constitution of the MDC did provide a pathway to replace or substitute or step into the shoes of Sangrai?
There is that narrative, yes, that has been talked about.
No, I'm saying is, are you satisfied that the constitution does provide?
Oh, absolutely, I am.
Okay. Are you suggesting that the constitution should not be given teeth by a court of law?
No, there are the issues here. The court itself, the Supreme Court judges sitting on that case have already declared it moot. They've already said that it is merely academic. It is impracticable. And it can't be.
You can't say something is moot and then determine it. Once you have determined something, right now there's an order of court. Well, and if there's an order of court, are you suggesting that the Supreme Court should not have dealt with Chamisa's appeal? Because the way I understand it, this judgment was about a high court order.
Yes, this judgment was about, but we need to go here into what exactly the judgment says. It's important there for us to read what the judgment says. It's also important for us to take in everything that the Supreme Court. You don't just take a small chop because maybe you want to play around. You have to read the full thing. Read what the judges said in the entire judgment, in all that they have said here around that judgment. And it is very clear that this judgment is moot. The declarations here, they are even impracticable. And so, I'm
saying, Simba, you are raising an issue of mootness.
Yes.
In relation to the judgment. Can we dispose of that? That mootness did not mean the judgment is moot.
Mootness meant, look, there is the judgment, there's no doubt about it. But they talked about the practicability. How is it? Can it be operationalized in reality?
No, I'm saying,
and I can read. And Mama, I can read. I think we should actually read what it says.
No.
Okay, Senator.
I'm so happy to see Honorable Komichi that is back.
Yeah, some people were saying you had.
It cannot be nullity. It cannot be nullity at all. The judgment will be implemented.
No one said it is. No one said the judgment is a nullity, and no one ever used that word there, Senator. The issue was the.
Simba, what point do you want to make? Are you saying that the Supreme Court should not have decided the matter?
No, I'm not saying that.
The attendance of the expert, my dear friend. People are prepared and they are ready to go for it. Just wait until the COVID is over. You will see how Zimbabweans are going to be celebrating. You will see how Zimbabweans are going to organize themselves for the extraordinary Congress.
Okay, so
what you must not don't abuse people. Don't abuse populism. Don't abuse the people's ignorance. The request of the party was not followed. We cannot sacrifice our values because of populism. We cannot sacrifice our values because of our courts. We've been to court, my friend. I've been one of the attendants of the court. I've been jailed. I've told you. I've gone through high court judgments. I know how these courts operate. So don't brush too many mistakes, but not always.
There's a question now. You're saying there's a delayed signal.
Yes.
Huh? Okay, I think we are.
At least now I can hear you now.
Yeah, we are coming to the end of the hour. I think our Simba, the first round, are you satisfied that there may be issues that we need to clarify, Simba? That relates to constitutionalism and not to.
Sorry, I think it's on my angle because I'm also pushing this to Twitter and Facebook, so I'm a bit delayed.
Okay, fine. But can you hear us? Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah. So okay, Tonel.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Check Magazine. Do you have any questions? Any burning questions? You've met with. You've interviewed Honorable BT. Washman Nue, Coltat, Mondra. Yeah, do you you have any questions for Senator Komichi? Okay, Divine, do you have any questions or comments for Senator Komichi?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm asking with a strong delay signal, so please just bear with me. So I hope this is my opportunity to ask because I have a bit of a delay signal. So now, if I may just ask my question, which I'm going to be directing straight to you, Senator Komichi.
Okay.
I need to ask Senator Komichi, the way you understand it, you are so much pushing the constitutionalism as a political party, which I appreciate. You are guided by the principles of the party as MDC. I need to understand something, Honorable Committee. The way you are talking about this constitutionalism now, you seem to be so sure there's going to be much of a difference as far as the political party is concerned. You recently had a congress in Guero, if my memory serves me very well. What effect is this? Because it looks like you already had your own Guero meeting, and it produced results that also made you one of the losers as far as it was concerned. Why are you now hoping there could be anything else new that we should expect from this as Zimbabweans? Is this not a case of just wasting resources over what you've already done? Because if you're really worried about MDC going to its own Congress, you've already gone through Congress. Why is this now Congress of special interest to you? Should we have any surprises that we should expect that we may not be aware of? Because as far as I'm concerned, you've already had a Congress, but you're so much excited about this new Congress. But were you not happy with the last Congress? Was there any laws that were flouted in the last Congress, or you are just not happy about the last results because you also lost in that Congress? If you may respond to that, because you are excited about the Congress, and I'm asking you, that I thought was free and fair, and you lost. Why do you need another life?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you remember, my acceptance speech is on the YouTube from the World Congress. I was very clear. But don't forget that before the Congress, I sat down with the other leaders, whom I've mentioned in some other circles. Chamisa himself, Advocate Avani, Comrade Wende, Comrade Mochidziva, Comrade Amos Subai. Well before the Congress, that was in April, and we were going through the High Court judgment. And I advised,
I think we're the ones who put
please stop this Congress in May. You be embarrassed by its outcome. It would be nullified. Being a lawyer, he defeated all of us, but we advised this thing, it would be nullified. Yes. Hey, here we are. The Supreme Court has this thing. And I've said, if you're a good leader and be prepared to correct yourself, the people would then respect you. At the moment, I've taken a position to make sure that we will guard against any other abuse of the constitution, of our party constitution. We witnessed the abuse of the constitution throughout the last 2 years. We advised and we discussed these things, but at the end of the day, the men at the helm did not take it. So usually, the men at the helm determines the outcome of any institution. So we do believe that we are now men on the helm. We will not fall in the same trap. We will not repeat the same mistake. We want to correct. We are conscious about it. We want to correct what we did. I've apologized to you. I've apologized to the whole nation. If I was part and parcel of the train that ended up in this quagmire, please forgive me. I'm determined and I'm prepared to correct the whole process now.
Okay. Any other question there? Okay.
Well, I think the the issue
Thank
there
you.
on that comment, that response that he says he wants to correct that. Instead of correcting that, he seems, in fact, yet to be doing the very, very opposite. You don't seem to be correcting any constitutionalism, are you, Senator, here? If you are now violating the very fundamentals of constitutionalism of millions of Zimbabweans, and also court cases that are there, live court cases that are there right now, by millions of people, many who were shot dead, many who have got bullets in their bodies to this day. And more so, Senator, many who have been threatened that they will have the army deployed on them. You don't seem to be fixing any, you don't seem to be addressing any constitutional issues. You're making things worse. How? What exactly are you correcting there?
I think you've asked that question before. Can I answer
no,
you?
I haven't. This is a new one. This is a new one. I'm referring to your comment that you are addressing, you're wanting to fix a constitutional issue. You don't seem to be fixing any constitutional issue, are you here? It is very clear here. We have a constitutional violation that began in 1983 when Nelson Chamisa was still suckling. And people have been killed, and in recent weeks here, people have been told that they will have the army deployed on them. And also we've got Mnangagwa boasting that he runs all the institutions of the country. You haven't stood, we've never seen you here, Senator, complaining that our courts are controlled by Emmerson Mnangagwa. And here you are, you're talking about constitutionalism. An opinion passed by a court that Emmerson Mnangagwa practically not only vocalizes, but practically demonstrates that he controls. At a time when tens of thousands have been killed by one man, more blacks than apartheid South Africa, we're not seeing the same energy to fix this issue. And in fact here, Senator Komichi, you are reversing constitutionalism. You're laughing, sir. You're laughing, sir. People are dying.
Thank you so much for
Senator, no, you're laughing. You're laughing right now. We've got people who are killed here.
Actually, Simba, I'm the that you're putting forward. Simba, what you have said, we are MDC institution. We're MDC part. We need to correct ourselves first. We must respect those issues that have raised first in our own MDC, so that we can have a high moral ground to fight ZANU-PF. We've been in existence for almost 20 years, fighting ZANU-PF's lack of democracy, fighting ZANU-PF's lack of constitutionalism, fighting ZANU-PF.
High moral ground by a court. High moral ground by a court that denied.
Honorable Komichi, if I may just ask you about.
No,
if I may just ask you, Honorable
Komichi.
Do you think the Supreme Court ruling was? Do you think the Supreme Court ruling was clear to you, and do you trust the court judgments in Zimbabwe? I just need to understand the way you treat the courts in Zimbabwe.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, the question is, do you trust?
So what I've been doing is...
Go ahead.
We are fighting ZANU-PF. We are fighting ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa as a system. And we've been fighting them for the last 20 years. And they continues. We still want to do more. We still want to fight for justice, fight for freedom, fight for constitutionalism. We know ZANU-PF government does not respect all these core values that we're talking about. So the issue that is there at stake now is MDC respecting those values that we are fighting ZANU-PF against. We need to correct ourselves because it has been proven that for the last 3 years, not done anything that we were created for. I'm not saying Mnangagwa is a god. I'm not saying Mnangagwa is a clean man. We are in this battle to correct things that we want. We actually current chance. We want to stop the abuse of the human rights. We want to make sure that there is separation of powers, judiciary, parliament, and executive. We want these things to be perfect. They are not perfect, and that's why we're fighting them. At the moment, you are in a local war, a war that is in our own home, so that we can be in a position to fight ZANU-PF with values and principles. At the moment, the last 2 years, we've seen the decay and the destruction of these values, such that we're not going to have any moral standing to question Mnangagwa for the abuse of the human rights, to question Mnangagwa for the abuse of the rule of law, to question Mnangagwa for lack of freedom, to question Mnangagwa for lack of justice. We're not going to be in any moral standing to say that. So we're correcting this. So the people of Zimbabwe, we're actually fighting for them. We are not at all betraying them. We are actually fighting for them. We want to put a proper platform to correct things. I'm not saying the people that were shot, I enjoy that. I don't do that. I don't enjoy that. I'm actually one of the victims of the ZANU-PF government. I've been in prison by this regime. Say they are good people. They are not.
Senator, there are people who are watching, making derogatory statements, and they feel genuinely that you are a hypocrite and you have betrayed the cause. Do you sometimes, in the quietness of your time, doubt your own cause?
At the moment, I don't doubt my cause at the moment. Forget it. I'm fully fledged. I'm at my maximum to correct this. I'm not a hypocrite. I've stood for justice and freedom, for
what do you
democracy throughout my whole life.
What do you expect, Honorable Komichi?
I've done that.
What do you expect of this of the outcome of the Congress? I just need to understand, what are your expectations of this Congress, and what is the difference between the Congress that the Supreme Court is pushing you to go to and the past Congress? I didn't get that part answered. What is the difference between those two Congresses in terms of the outcome produced? What are you expecting to be different?
Hello?
Hello?
Senator Komichi, I think, I hope he's here.
It looks like he's frozen. Okay.
Senator Komichi.
Okay, you are asking the person what is to be expected at the court-ordered Congress. Is that correct?
Yes, that's my question. It seems there's so much excitement to abide by the Supreme Court ruling, which I understand. Yes, the Supreme Court is judged, but I'm asking him, few months back, it's less than a year, they've already gone through a Congress. Why is he saying the people are going to speak out like the people didn't speak in the past Congress? What should be the expected outcome or difference?
What was the Congress of 2019 about?
It was about electing the whole leadership. It elected the whole leadership, including the president.
Was it an MDCT Congress or a new party Congress?
No.
What happened in
I'm sure you can best answer that question, but still, to me, it's about the MDC leadership, because there was a Congress recently, and Honorable Komichi was one of the contestants. So he's saying that people, we should look forward to this Congress and the outcome. People are excited. So I'm wondering, when he says that, why are people now excited now when the same people were not excited a few months back? Because you had your Congress recently. And why should people look out to any other Congress? What should be the difference? What will they change?
The next round of Congress is going to be done within the time to serve the Supreme Court. That is the first 3 months. If it fails to happen within the 3 months, it will happen in the 4th month. this is a constitutional process that must be followed, which was violated. Remember, the Supreme Court, the High Court, the Supreme Court was just the arbitrator, where serious violation of the Constitution was done within the party. And the only platform where arbitration could have taken place was the court. And the court ruled that you did not follow your own constitution. So what we are simply saying, let's go and regroup, all of us, including Nelson Chamisa, all of us, let us go to the External Congress. Chamisa is not part of the delegates of that Congress. He should go through a process which is prescribed in our party constitution, so that if he is re-elected, everyone will support him. It's not that Chamisa is out of question here. He's not out of question. He's actually one of the 2014 delegates who is going to be, if he wants to be elected, he can be elected at the Congress. We fulfill our constitution, party constitution, not national constitution, not Supreme Court constitution, but MDC constitution. Let's go and do it. Because so far, we've been exposed as people that have not respected their own constitution. Some of the members of
how do you view the courts, Honorable Komichi, in your own assessment? Do you think that the courts are fair and the courts ruled their issues with justice? How do you view our courts out of interest?
We cannot sacrifice values because of certain Machiavellian approaches. We cannot sacrifice values because of power. We cannot sacrifice integrity because of convenience.
Senator,
we must follow our constitution. We must follow our constitution. Period. Nothing more.
Senator,
we are not seeking for anything else.
Senator, did you hear the question?
Will be the president.
Did you hear the question?
No.
No, did you hear the question?
Congress.
No, there's a question that was asked of you there, Senator, and you seem to have continued talking. Maybe perhaps you're not hearing him. Yeah, Tino, they asked you about your trust for the course, and still adding to that, I will ask you myself, Senator, why didn't you pursue other options when you heard the announcement by the Supreme Court here? Why didn't you sit down to reflect the interest of the millions of people here? And also because this verdict here can be challenged. Are you aware, by the way, Senator, that a Supreme Court verdict can be reheard on appeal? And why didn't you consider assisting the people here? By the way, I'm a publisher. I'm the leading publisher in Zimbabwe and outside of Zimbabwe right now. And I can tell you from the opinions of millions of people, whose statistics I can show you straight in your face here, 80%, more than 80% of Zimbabweans view your position right now as misguided, and they are saying that that Supreme Court ruling is nonsensical, and they say that it must be appealed. Why didn't you sit down there while you're inside there, Senator, and explore the option of appealing? You yourself, sir, as a constitutional man, in respect of the thousands, tens of thousands of people.
Can I just reply you?
Yes, sir.
I've got your question, Mazi. I've got your question. Let me respond.
Yes, sir.
In leadership and management, you don't need more than 20%.
You're Oh, is it my phone that's breaking, folks?
Hello?
Hello?
It could be the Zimbabwean connection.
I'm
Right.
in Zimbabwe, it's just this connection. Yeah, but now I understand your point.
I also have a question for Senator Komichi. Senator Komichi is there. I also have a question for Senator Komichi.
I can hardly hear Senator Komichi. I'm sure he does have some connectivity issues.
Why don't we allow him to answer that question there? What?
Hello.
Yes, Senator. Why didn't you explore the option, Senator, of appealing the judgment? Exploring. Why did you rush to proclaim yourself chairman and you're now making pronouncements and prepared on a printed piece of paper?
Makanza, can you listen? I've heard your question already. Makanza. Let me respond to you. I actually thought about
Oh, the line is breaking again.
The line is breaking.
it was not a prompt.
Yeah.
Yes, I said I thought about it. It was not a reaction on that day. I told you that I've been advising my other colleagues for a very long time. And what then happened on that very day that you are talking about, I was prepared for it. I was prepared for it mentally, emotionally, and physically. I wanted to change things. I wanted to change direction of how things were going in MDC. And this is what I did. And I'm actually consciously clear about that. I'm not regretting it all. I know many people might not understand me today.
Was the speech also prepared way in time for this? You had the speech that you read during the just after the pronouncement. Was your speech also prepared in time? Were you privy to the judgment more than anybody else could have been? If I may just ask, out of interest, you also had a speech that seemed to be a victory speech. Were you privy to the judgment?
Not at all. But don't forget that everybody had a High Court order. Don't forget, everyone had a High Court order in our homes. So we knew. And I told you that in my discussion in April last year, I even told Tabani and the entire team that the appeal to this judgment is a waste of time. We'll be embarrassed and we'll lose it. It was factual. I had read our own party constitution. I had read High Court order. It was factual. It was actually useless to feel like that judgment. Anyone who is of average
oh dear.
Intelligence. Hello.
Hello.
I wonder.
So let me answer you.
Getting in one of my
I was not judgment at all. I was not at all. But I told you I had the High Court judgment. I knew it was a fatal, it was a mistake, it was useless for people to appeal. I advanced last year in April that appeal against that judgment is a serious of time. So really, even the other team knew it. The other team knew it. Remember, we do live in Zimbabwe, and we share this kind of communications. They knew it, that they were not going to win it. They were also prepared. They were also prepared. It's only that they were prepared in the other way. Remember, 3 weeks before the court judgment, the leadership of Chamisa went out the whole country addressing provincial assemblies. And in all those provincial assemblies was talking about the High Court judgment, Supreme Court judgment. What he had, we had told him. He primed the people throughout the whole country. He addressed 10 provinces. He primed them against the Supreme Court judgment. Why was he doing that? He addressed members of parliament. He addressed councillors. He addressed many members of our party talking about the Supreme judgment. What had happened? What had he had? We had told him. Why was he so prepared? So why should now people question about a simple planning act?
And you are claiming to be a constitutionalist.
So,
Yes, of course.
so you're saying that. So you're
The
saying
rules of the
you're
Constitution.
saying that you felt it was a futile exercise.
To appeal, you are the field exercise.
Senator,
Yes. Yes.
your commitment. I'm asking you about your commitment to the rule of law here. You saw
Yes.
my reportage, myself, on international platform where I've been. You saw issues that I raised, a prosecution that I raised in Serbia against Jacob Mudenda. You saw those matters.
Yes, I saw it.
You saw those matters of
It was
which
beautiful.
country right now,
It was beautiful.
even
a great job.
excuse me,
You did a great job in Serbia. I want to thank you so much for that job that you did. You were correct.
but
And I
Senator,
supported you very much.
thank you, sir. But you're saying that in word. We have not seen you taking that role up. Okay, you yourself as a senator to scream about this. I didn't see you, sir. We didn't see you taking this matter forward so that it can be operationalized. Those same constitutional matters, illegal matters that were raised in Serbia, those same matters that were raised by the United Nations. I have not seen your name featuring anywhere inside Parliament, the Senate or Parliament here on those issues from day one of your being made a senator 2 years ago. Senator, how could you be someone who could honestly say you are for the rule of law when you are not in any way in a position
Yeah.
to see?
You are just,
Senator, before you come in,
you're just speaking on subject matter.
unfortunately,
You're ignoring what I've just told you that.
Senator,
What is it that you've told me?
Hello?
I'm here. I'm listening to you. Say it, sir. Say it. You don't have to make pauses here.
Simba, we are
I'm
going.
saying, yes.
Simba, can
I'm
I?
saying Simba, you've chosen to ignore in the platforms where I've stood against the abuse of the human rights. You've chosen to ignore that. Remember, I've told you that I've served 100 days in Chikurubi because of fighting for the human rights. Remember, I've told you that I was tortured and sentenced to almost to the gallows, and I stayed for 6 months in prison. And I'm one of the leaders who saved the community.
Emerson Mnangagwa
fighting for the people's rights.
stayed in prison for 10 years, and Emerson Mnangagwa stayed for longer period. He stayed in prison for 10 years.
You choose one item. Check it story.
Can I intervene?
Of all them disciplined, if all of them have stood in front of everyone.
Can I ask you indulgence? We've gone over the hour that we had committed to Senator Komichi. And is it possible to make this part 1 and then we have a part 2?
I think a part 2 is going to be much more interesting, and hopefully Honorable Senator Komichi is going to be having better connectivity. I'm struggling to really get what he's saying, but yeah, I think I agree with you, Mr. Mawere. It would have made a lot of sense, but if I may just throw a simple, my last question just before Honorable Komichi goes.
No, you already committed. Let's first commit Senator Komichi to this continuing conversation on constitutionalism. I know it's a national issue. It's of a public interest. So, Senator Komichi, would you give us another time so that we can dig deeper into this issue of constitutionalism, rule of law, and hello?
At the moment, the signal is very, very bad.
Can we adjourn the meeting so that we are arrange another time convenient to you so that we can come back to deal with part 2.
Yes. Yes, of course.
All right. So thank you very much. I think
Yes,
it was a
of course.
spirited debate, and I do hope that the perimeter of constitutionalism is not limited to the affairs of MDC. I hope the rule of law is not prescribed to one party. I hope we will be able to extend it beyond the facts and circumstances of MDC. And the tests are there. The future is ours. The conversations are also ours. We have to own the conversations on constitutionalism. Thank you, Honorable Komichi, for giving up time. Others don't want to come forward, step forward to aid their voices on this critical and important part of nation building. We may look at it in the short term, they will see constitutionalism as a threat. But those who look at it in the long term, they see constitutionalism as part of the foundation of the kind of society that speaks to the human spirit. Thank you very much.
And it looks like it's already gone now, but